With less than 3 months before the 2022 election, some candidates trying to prove they know the playbook of Philippine politics like the backs of their hands. Technique number one: if something works, then go for it, even if it means telling your running mate to kindly step aside in the meantime because a certain crowd is crazy about pairing you with someone else. Technique number two: look for the ruling party's weakness and rub salt in the wound by forcing yourself into the picture. And number three, identify a unifying factor such as God and religion to gain the favor of a church with millions of followers eligible to vote. As we inch closer to May 9, expect our future leaders to lay down more cards or reveal tricks up their sleeves that'll jack up their chances of winning. Good evening, I'm Pia Hontiveros. Welcome to your weekly political appointment fix, politics as usual. Despite running under a different party, presidential candidate Manny Pacquiao argues he is still the president of PDP Laban after rival Manila Mayor Isko Moreno sought the ruling party's endorsement.
Ako ang presidente ng partido, so dadaan din sa akin lahat 'yan. Hintayin lang natin kung may mga lumapit sa atin na gustong sumuporta.
Senator Coco Pimentel of PDP Laban joins us tonight to shed light on this issue and other things besides that. Of course, the PDP Laban Manny Pacquiao allied faction. Senator Coco, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Before anything else, let's just say that you are in the residence of Senator Manny right now.
That's correct, Pia. Magandang gabi po sa lahat.
Well, Senator Coco, let's begin with this. You've already said that you are the real PDP Laban, and you said kami ang tunay na PDP Laban at may manok na kami. This is in response, of course, to the attempt of Isko Moreno to seek the endorsement of the PDP Laban. Is that correct?
I am not aware of the his desire to get PDP Laban's endorsement. I was asked by those covering the campaign of Manny Pacquiao yesterday in our headquarters. So yun lang yung sagot ko na ano na po, ang PDP Laban ay nakapili na po ng aming kandidato pagka presidente. Walang iba kundi si Senador Manny Pacquiao. And then ang vice president namin, yung choice niya. Walang iba kung hindi si Deputy Speaker Lito Atienza. At dinaan po namin ito sa proseso. A very formal and solemn process ang dinaanan po nito.
Pero may problema pa rin po, hindi po ba, Senator Coco, because you have another faction, the one led by Alfonso Cusi. And of course, I mean, syempre, we all know, nakabimbin pa rin sa COMELEC itong issue, no? Para, that should be laid to rest pretty soon. But that is a problem. That's what's causing a lot of the trouble right now.
Yes, so from personal knowledge, I know of no application or desire of Mayor Isko Moreno to get the PDP Laban nomination because it's no longer open. Pero maybe doon sa kabila. But yun na nga, that's why I issued a warning. Kung yung certificate of nomination nga nung rebel faction namin, the hijackers of the party, may magiging questionable, then all the more a late informal endorsement, lalong questionable. So si Mayor Moreno better not seek that endorsement anymore from the hijackers of the party.
Or else, like you said, he would have to pay the political price.
That's correct. Magiging political issue yun.
Senator Manny has also said he hoped for the endorsement of the Jesus is Lord movement, kina Brother Eddie Villanueva. But Brother Eddie himself has said that they're not going to be endorsing anyone, at least for the moment. What do you think of that, and what does that mean for Senator Manny and for your party?
Okay, this is politics is addition. So if there are organized groups and the organized groups endorse your candidacy, then that's good for you. So, okay lang po yun. If ang sagot naman is as of the moment, then we still have around 70 plus more days to go. And I'm sure they understand each other. They belong to to this the the body of Christ, ang tawag po nila dyan sa community, the sector of our society which are very active in Bible reading, the study of the Bible, and in preaching the Word of God. So, madali po silang magkaintindihan.
Senator Coco, with your candidate not faring very well in the surveys, is he still in the race? I ask this question because, you know, is there truth to rumors that he was about to throw in the towel, or else that, you know, because the tap is running dry na raw, or patuloy pa rin ba yung mga campaign contributions? Ano ba yung totoo?
Ang totoo is May 9, we will still be standing and fighting and slugging it out. World champion itong ating kandidato pagka-presidente at saka sincero itong kanyang pagtakbo bilang presidente. He's offering an alternative way of analyzing Philippine society. Ang gusto niya unahin talaga yung problema ng poorest of the poor. Kaya nga pabahay, trabaho, pagkakakitaan. Yun po ang basic, the three basic programs of government ni Senator Manny Pacquiao. So wala pong katotohanan yan, part ng saywar yan, Pia. At saka tandaan po natin that yung mga surveys na nakikita natin, these are pandemic surveys or surveys during pandemic time. Paano ginagawa yun? Sabihin nga sa atin ng mga survey firms, face-to-face, may umiikot. So mag-ingat lang po tayo when we make decisions based on surveys. Pero surveys are guides, but you don't surrender just because there is a dismal result from a survey. So di po yun, basta guides lang po yan. Lalo na ngayon, medyo mag-ingat tayo sa surveys kasi pandemic time.
So you don't surrender, or is it too early to surrender? After all, the campaign has just begun. We are still just on the second week since Feb 8.
Kami, we will never surrender. Ganyan po ang marka ng PDP laban. Sinamahan pa kami ng prom-D ngayon. So, prom-D, PDP laban na ito. So, we will never surrender. Up to the very end, fight po kami sa dulo.
Okay.
We will let the people decide, and we will have to be there so that the people will have choices. They will have alternatives. Hindi pwedeng puro mainstream politician lang tayo. Kailangan meron tayong point of view na galing po sa mahihirap na point of view, and that's Senator Manny Pacquiao, kasi kukuha lang siya ng experience sa buhay niya. Alam niya na kaagad first hand, alam niya first hand anong problema po ng mga mahihirap sa Pilipinas.
So fight till the end, never surrender for this boxing champion, this world champion. But statistically speaking, does your candidate still stand a chance? Or are they all just, Manny, Isko, Lenny, Ping, Caliodio, are they all just fighting for second place?
Well, una sa lahat, when you say statistically speaking, I'm assuming you're looking at the pandemic surveys. That's why let us be careful with the figures in these pandemic surveys. Paano ba ginawa yan? And tandaan mo, we have our own surveys, and we are topping some of online surveys. So meaning to say, meron din po kaming inaasahang support, grassroots support, especially grassroots support, and then it's also quite a big sector of society. So we have a fighting chance, lalo na these are pandemic surveys na kailangan medyo ingat lang tayo when we analyze the figures.
Well, pandemic surveys, but made by reputable survey firms like Pulse Asia and Social Weather Stations. You talk about in-house surveys. Senator Coco, lahat naman ng kampanya may in-house survey, at halos lahat naman ng kampanya, lahat ng in-house survey show the principal leading, hindi po ba? And at the same time, there has been a word of warning about surveys that are done online because they're not scientific. The process is not clear. There's no clear methodology also.
That's correct. That's why I will raise the same question with these pandemic surveys. How were they done during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic? Face-to-face? Or they also made some adjustments na nag-online din sila or nag-text din sila. So, yun po yung mga tanong. That's why careful lang po tayo. Basta what I will say is that surveys are guides. Okay? You win some, you lose some. But do not lose hope just because you're not performing well in a survey during a pandemic time where I'm sure the survey takers made some adjustments from the usual method. So ano lang po tayo, just be careful in accepting the figures of the surveys. But let them guide you.
But if Senator Manny himself was leading the survey, okay lang sa inyo? Or you would still say the same thing?
It will guide us. It will guide us, and then ang itatanong mo kasi is, ano bang pinagagawa natin and how come napakataas natin sa survey? So you ask your question, you ask yourself those questions so that gagawin mo ulit yung ginawa mo.
Okay. My final question, Senator Coco, your father, how would he have reacted to everything that has happened so far? What would have been his words of wisdom for you? Your father, of course, Nene Pimentel. Okay, do we still have Senator Coco? Or we lost that signal to him already? Kung nawala atang signal kay Senator Coco Pimentel, who is, like he was saying, in the residence, the Makati residence of Senator Manny Pacquiao. Senator Coco there explaining that surveys are guideposts. A word of warning, he says, about all those surveys that are done in pandemic times. Anyway, thank you so much for being with us tonight, Senator Coco Pimentel of PDP Laban. Ay, nakabalik, pero we need to go to a break na. Senator Coco, sige, final words na lang po.
Yun lang po, to all the supporters of Senator Manny Pacquiao, andito po tayo till the very end. Laban po tayo because we are PDP Laban. Sinamaan pa tayo ng prom D, so mas malakas po tayo ngayon. So salamat po sa suporta.
Laban dahil PDP Laban, ang partido ng inyong ama na, we all wonder what could be going through his mind right now.
You want me to look for money?
Okay, sige. Sige. While you're walking there, okay, let's do a little bit of annotation kasi nga sabi ni Senator Coco, nasa bahay siya ni Manny Pacquiao right now. So tingnan natin. That's the beauty of technology, that we can have direct access. Senator Manny, magandang gabi po. Naku, surprise. Si Pia Hontiveros po ito sa Politics as Usual. We have about a minute or 2 minutes po para sa inyo dahil kanina kausap namin si Senator Coco tungkol sa maraming issue. Meron po ba kayong gustong i-share sa amin ngayong gabi dahil ang daming issue ngayon, yung kay Isko Moreno, yung kayo po asserting your presidency as of PDP Laban, etc.
Ngayong gabi. Hello?
Nandunggan ba niya? Naririnig niyo ba kami? Okay, anyway,
Yes.
nasa conference. Sige. Thank you, Pia.
Sige. Okay, salamat po. Never mind. Next time na lang po. Thank you so much, Senator Coco Pimentel. Naging correspondent natin si Senator Coco. Salamat po, sir. We'll be back after a quick break. This is Politics as Usual. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Politics as Usual. Kanina po lamang ay kasama po natin si Senator Coco Pimentel and he was in the home, the Makati residence of Senator Manny Pacquiao. And just to explain kung ano nangyari, may kakumperensya pala si Senator Manny kaya hindi siya nakapag... he wasn't able to really speak to us a while ago, but like we said, next time. Anyway, our second guest in this second half of the show, political analyst Ed Buntayo. Hi, Ed. Good evening. Thank you so much for being with us. Well, let's begin with this, Let's talk about Manny Pacquiao. He's asserting his authority as PDP Laban head. Of course, this is in response to so-called attempts of Isko to get the PDP Laban's endorsement, or at least the faction allied of Alfonso Cusi. So what do you think of all of that?
Well, Yeah, that's expected, no, in the kind of politics that we have. Hindi ko na nga tinatawag na political system kasi it's not really a political system. Everything depends on the political personality. So if you're a personality, you have the resources, you have the name, you might as well decide which political party you will run with, which political personalities you will be with in other words, in terms of team and so on. Actually, nitong election lang na to, doon natin makita na out and out, no? Parang hindi ganon ka-significant yung political party. Requirement siya sa election laws natin. Pero parang ang sinasabi ng mga kandidato natin, hindi siya ganon ka-significant, no? A political factor when it comes to winning elections. So, hopefully it tells us, no, a thing or two as to what's the reason, no? Why is it that our kind of politics is so different compared to other political setup?
Hindi siya ganong significant when you speak about political parties. But shouldn't we just say it this way? Political parties are insignificant. Di ba?
Yeah, exactly.
Because like,
Well,
you know,
pero
depends on
kasi
kung sinong
hindi-
panalo. Pag nanalo, nung panalo si ERAP, PMP, nung nanalo si
Yeah, pero,
Gloria, LDP, di ba? Nung nanalo si Noy, LP.
Oh. But I'm sure you've seen in previous elections na kahit paano when you speak of a team, talagang team siya na talagang isang pangalan lang yung dala niya. If it's a team, then it's the coalition's name that you get to see. Pero ngayon, even if you say it's a team, nakalagay pa din doon na iba't iba silang political party, and most of the political parties that we're looking at now are either very new political parties or moribund political parties before na
Resurrected.
resuscitated
Resuscitated.
or resuscitated recently, no? So yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know really how to. I'm sorry, but even if I've been trying to make sense of politics all these years, it's difficult to really describe. At the very least, no, what is it exactly that we're having right now?
I love your, how candid you are. Totoong-totoo yung sinasabi mo, Ed. Lahat tayo confused na, no? But anyway, you know, another thing. Ay, nako talaga. Dapat siguro yun ang motto na, ay, nako. Anyway, another thing, no, yung mga religious group endorsements. So you have Jesus is Lord, Brother Eddie, saying, di muna kami mag-endorse, no? Kaibigan namin sila lahat, no? And yun sana ang gusto ni Manny Pacquiao, no? Kay Brother Eddie. You have Apollo Quiboloy, Kingdom of Jesus Christ endorsing BBM and Sarah. You have the El Shaddai founder, Brother Mike Velarde, endorsing BBM. In past elections, it's always such a big story, with which religious groups go to which candidate. You know, Iglesia ni Cristo, the Catholic Church also. Although every time the Catholic Church speaks up, you know, ang dami nagagalit. It's very strange, you know, a Catholic country. But what do we make of this now? You know, why is it a little bit different now? And why that hesitation, for example, from GIL?
The only hesitation is with JIL, Pia, no? But the only difference probably is that it's the first time compared to all the, well, not all, but at least most of the presidential elections. Nanguna naman si previous President Erap Estrada and the late President Nonoy Aquino, when they both ran, they led the survey at the outset and they won the election, except that they did not breach the 50% mark. Yung ngayon kasi, kahit pa sabihin natin na pandemic survey yan or whatever, we cannot deny that all the survey, the major survey organizations have been saying practically the same thing, that the leading candidate has breached the 50% mark, and so that may have led some of the religious organizations to already endorse the leading candidate. Now, the answer to your question is that I don't know if you notice in previous elections, usually after, not after, but only a few weeks before the election day, dyan natin nakikita yung religious endorsements kasi actually add-on lang sila. Tinitingnan din nila kung sino talaga yung medyo sigurado na talagang mananalo at yun usually yung ini-endorse na we contributed to your win. no? Something to that effect. But as to whether or not there's really an endorsement that's made at the outset, hindi ko pa nakita, no? Of course, I'm just looking at the elections from 1992 onwards, but so far as if I remember it right, I hope I'm wrong, is that most of the religious endorsements happen at the last minute.
Mabuti nang sigurado kesa hindi.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take a very short break. This is Politics as Usual. More questions in the last 4 minutes of the show, the final stretch, in just a bit with Ed Tayao. We'll be right back. We're on our final stretch. Analyst Ed Tayao still with us. Ed, I know we just have 3.5 minutes. We're going to try and squeeze everything in. Three big questions here. First, so nabanggit na, no, of course, BBM leading the surveys by a mile. The others, Lenny, Isko, a far second. Then you have Manny, Ping, Calyodi, etc. Go down the line. No? Is the election over, and are they just jousting for second place? Or hindi pa talaga tapos ang bakbakan dahil it's too early to tell. But ito nga, we have this issue of, crossing that 50% mark.
I'm inclined to think, Pia, na hindi pa tapos ito, no? And we still have a few weeks, in fact, at least about 70 days to fight for. And yung sinasabi nila na 95% decided na, yung 95% na yun pwede pa magbago at the last minute. Now, what will it take for that 95% to change the preferred candidate? You have to shatter that narrative, no? That the post-Marcos Philippines, or the so-called democratic Philippines, has been really a lot better compared to the Marcos period, and vice versa. Kasi alam mo, yun ang naging problema natin. Hindi definitive even the accounts have become quite problematic. Kasi kahit yung mga tinuturo sa mga classroom natin, if you remember, ang daming scandals, no, when it comes to textbooks, for that matter. And so when it comes to what exactly happened before, medyo put into question, not to mention, of course, that many of those people living now and about to vote actually did not experience martial law. No? So, second of all, whether we like it or not, but the popularity of the current president really is incomparable, no, to the popularity of especially the previous administration. I don't know exactly why, but most likely it's also because most of the propaganda that has been used before are no longer applicable or no longer useful now. No, so you have to shatter, no, that enigma so as to somehow neutralize, no, the dominance of the Marcos narrative.
Well, speaking of the Marcos narrative, just in the last few days, we've had this, the furor over BBM's hand, left hand or right hand, and the wounds, and ang daming memes lumalabas, no, na diring-diri siya sa masa, kaya ayaw niya magpahawak, and then may issue na, sabi na nga ng pani niya, may sugat siya, so naging issue din yun, na parang, bakit may sugat? Then, people resurrecting those photographs of his father with, all those bandages on his wrists, no? What are we to make of that?
Well, kasama naman yan sa propaganda, Pia. Of course, if you can't find something to really clutch on or to hold on, no, as an issue, or as which is for lack of a better term, propaganda, you come up with something that somehow you could try, no?
Yeah.
If the public will catch on, or will
In other words,
hold on.
kasi sa dami ng
more substantive.
Oo. Well, dahil sa dami ng tinapon na sa kanya, parang nothing sticks, no? So might as well, but anyway, parang trial lang. Okay, one last question. We need to ask this because you have this Isko Moreno, Doc Willie Ong, a little bit of a drama going on, no? So hindi sinama si Doc Willie sa Mindanao dahil nga daw, ang gusto daw sa Mindanao, sa parts sa Mindanao, Isko Sara, no? What does this look and sound like to you, no? Is this like, para ba itong Noibi nung 2010 or nung 2016, di ba? Si Digong de tumakbo ang kanyang
Pwede.
running mate si Alan Cayetano pero panay ang praise niya kay BBM, no? So what are we to make of this?
Pwede yun, Pia. Kasi alam mo, talagang kakaiba nung klase ng politika natin. Hindi ko na nga tinatawag na political system kasi wala naman talagang sistema tayong pinag-uusapan eh. Everything depends on personalities. Kaya nga, nung kanina sabi ko, nag-high nako ako kasi alam mo, parang napaka-exasperating nung mga nakita natin ngayon. Bigla-bigla na lang yung mga political party nandyan or wala. Actually, they're not really that useful, so to speak. And so, to my mind, there's no incentive really, no, for tandems really to stick it out, mainly because the supporters have their own, I don't know, direction or even agenda that they're inclined to support whoever is winning in the numbers or in the survey. So pagka nakikita nila, uy, hindi masyado magaling yung choice nila for president, palitan natin yung tandem ng vice president natin and vice versa.
Alright. Nako. Hay nako. Salamat, Ed Tayaw. Ubus na rin ang oras natin. Hay nako. Thank you for your insights so much. Political analyst Edmund Tayaw. We've been told before, don't talk politics at the dinner table or the family reunion or in Viber groups and risk digital warfare. But we can talk about it here at this table on this show, your weekly political appointment fix, politics as usual. I'm Pia Hontiveros. See you back here next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m.